Hi everyone, Aldbar here. This is going to be a play guide for the MachineBow build. The quest I'm playing here is breaking the ranks on Epic Elite. First off, I'm going to start with the buffing. As you see here, I've got Nightshield clicke. One I'm using comes from the Opet raid, but you can get one from the MachineBow event also. This is very important if you want to get rid of magic missile. Next up, I'm putting all my extra damage. I'm using elemental damage, whatever I think is going to be fit for the quest. Insightful strikes will add my intelligence to my attack. And then they have the bard buff that comes from Epic Destinies, will basically make a big lightning strike every time I critical hit, every time I vorpal. Other than that, let's get into the main play style. My goal over here is to try to line up as many monsters as possible so that when I fire, I can fire through all of them. I'm going to show a very consistent way to do this. I'm going to select one target, in this case the boss, who has the most hit points, who I know is not going to die instantaneously. And then I just circle around and let everything else try to fall into the line of fire. As I run backwards, it makes everybody file into a line behind me. And therefore, when I'm firing, my big burst of DPS goes through everything. The more I can get lined up, the more DPS per minute that'll get. So this is the key point of this build, is trying to fire through as many enemies as possible at once. Well, as you can see, I get this healing that keeps on going off. Part of it's my fast healing, some of it's cocoon, and other sources of healing like renew and my healing hands. Now it's very important to notice that your DPS is affected greatly by the healing that you use. Meaning if you press your healing in the middle of your Endless Fusilade, you're wasting a lot of DPS. So you want to key your DPS so it works together with your healing and they don't conflict one with each other. So you heal, then you hit your Endless Fusilade, and then as soon as you're done, you try to heal again. Rather than trying to heal in the middle. Every time you heal in the middle, you're wasting a lot of DPS. Here you can see I'm trying to round up the enemies, so every time I fire, I'm firing through as many as possible. At this point, I go and look for traps. This will help me, so I'll have more room to run around and be able to line enemies up in a more effective way. See here, I can't just keep on running back infinitely because I know there's traps in the perimeter, so that kind of locks me towards the middle, so I can't be as effective as I want. In this particular case, I'm going to try to get rid of traps as soon as I can. That will open up my options when it comes to firing through as many enemies as possible. I'll point out here a few things. First of all, I'm using the flame arrow. That's just a bit of DPS. I took the actual spell. And the second thing is I'm using elemental arrows, again, to add some DPS. I would select a specific element if they're vulnerable or can't be affected by a different one. Here I'm clearing out the traps in this enclosed area. Should open up a lot of options for me. I want to show off a little bit what I call the hallway method. Basically trying to get enemies to file into a hallway. It's the same thing as backing up. It makes everybody come to one point, so when you fire, you're firing through everyone. Here we go. Here's going to start the orcs. Here I get my focus on the boss. Now again, as I run around, every time all the other monsters file in line between me and the boss, they take the same amount of DPS as the boss does. You can see I'm struggling here because I can't just run off to the perimeter because I'll get stuck in those slow traps. Here's a good example, is trying to make these big circles still so the other monsters get in line. Just as a reminder, you have to be in the stance of improved precise shot for it to hit the monsters between you and your main target. I use the displacement clicke that I have for my braces. In typical fashion, I would usually have stone skin on, but for all my videos I don't use it because then you can't see my cosmetic. It just looks like I'm covered in stone. It doesn't make a difference what cosmetic I'm wearing, it all looks the same. I made that mistake with my Reaver's Fate video. For the whole video I just was wearing stone skin. It looked really silly. So, if this wouldn't be recorded, I would probably use stone skin. Just, you know, for a little bit more protection. This lightning strike that keeps on going off is from the epic destiny of Bard. It's very powerful, and because I get a double Warple on my great crossbow, it goes off like a lot. So also my rune arm has a small chance of hitting a lightning strike. Tovin's hammer. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and this looks fun, please give me a like, I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you. When it comes to different variants of the MachineBow build, if you go for more a rogue style, so then your evasion will be better and you can get past like more spells and you will evade them better, be better at evading traps, and basically kind of your MRR in a certain way will be better. And if you go for the fighter build, you probably can be better at PRR, meaning when it comes to being hit right in the face. So if you're agile when it comes to actual playing in real life, probably towards rogue you get better results if you can move fast enough and move out of the way. If you don't want to be stressed to keep on moving and always jumping around, so if you tend towards the fighter build, you can probably stand a little bit more in one place and take a few more hits. Here I'm doing a quick rebuff. Just point out that because I'm using Tovin's hammer, who's got the same effect as the Torque has, I never really run out of spell points. So the only reason I'm resting here is because I want to get back my charges of Endless Fusilade. It doesn't recharge by itself, so you have to rest for it. This is basically the halfway point of this quest, so I'm resting now. Using some Yugo pots. It's very important if you do get knocked down, you should press down shift or block. There's no reason to take extra damage while you're down. Again, over here I'm put my focus on the boss, and every time somebody runs between me and the boss, they'll take all the damage I'm giving to the boss. As you can see, my critical hits knock enemies over, even though they're not knocking over the boss, but the boss is immune to it. But everybody else is being knocked over anyway, so it's a very powerful effect. Having a 10% chance to knock down while using a great crossbow. This clip was in the MachineBow build. I cut it right before you see me get knocked over. Not that that really made any difference. Here I'm going to show an example of what happens when you have an entrance, a thin entrance. As everybody comes through the entrance, they automatically have to file into a line. That makes it that when I fire through everything. Basically, you're kind of dealing with a strategy similar to a caster. When it comes to maxing your DPS, you want to get as many enemies and in one place as possible, so that when you hit your fireball or whatever it is, you hit everything as a big AoE. So over here it's not really as much as an AoE as much as it's standing in light, kind of like the sunbeam, whatever it's called from Favorite Soul. So the goal is really to get everything to line up and shoot through everything. Here, as you can see, I don't have my focus on anything, but I'm just trying to make sure that my viewpoint is aimed kind of up and towards the middle, so we'll hit everything in the middle also. If I focus it too much down, so it only hits the things right in front of me. I explained this a little bit more detail in the MachineBow build at the end. If you play a quest that has a lot of tight corridors, this is a very good idea also. Bring everybody into an entrance, into a hallway, and firing through everything. Here I just realized that it ran out of flaming arrows, so cast another stack and get back up. I'm consciously aware of how many charges of Endless Fusilade I have, because I know I have to go until the end, that I need to have enough charges to last me through the end fight. So I try to optimize them so I get the most out of each burst. If you were to play a ranged build, any ranged build, but you wouldn't have improved precise shot, you would have to fire and hit each enemy individually. This would be extremely tedious and extremely long. Having big groups like this, you need to deal with them as we call them, trash. You'll have to have some way to hit more than one target at once. So for a caster, this would be a no-brainer. Any kind of AoE is great, but as a ranged, this is what you need to do. So even if you're not going to play this particular build, but you're just going to play any ranged build, you should be using improved precise shot, and this should be your general strategy. Trying to fire through as many as possible at once.
Do you have any idea how unwise it is to anger a wizard of Netherhell?
Anyways, this is going to be the last fight. You're going to have some Shader Kai, so I'm getting rid of the traps next to the Giants area, so I'll have a little bit more room to move around if I need it. This quest is a whole bunch of rounds where you have to kill trash, but there's a little bit more strategy in this quest than there is in something like Devil's Assault. In Devil's Assault, you're basically stuck in one place, and it's a very small square room where you don't have where to go. In this particular case, there's a lot more running around that's possible to do. Here again, I'm trying to get my focus on the boss so that when I start firing, everything who comes running at me, all the trash, will be hit automatically. I'm gonna refresh all my buffs, so I don't have to worry about it in the middle of the run. As soon as any monsters get between me and the boss, they automatically get hit with everything. So these particular monsters are very dangerous if you stand next to them while they start with their chain attack, so have to keep on the move. Here I'm also trying to finish this round as fast as possible. As soon as I kill the boss, the quest is basically over, so that's my main focus here, killing the boss. What I'm trying to do here is I don't really have that much distance to run back, so I'm going to try to close in on the boss, and then when I feel like I have enough space and all the monsters are close to me, then I'll start running backwards and they'll all file into the line between me and the boss, and then I'll get hit. Here I go, I'm charging up, and as they all come at me, they all get blasted. As you can see here, I focused only on the boss. I haven't focused on anything else, but yet the trash keeps on dying. So that's basically this whole build in a nutshell. is make sure you fire at as many targets as possible at once. Focus on the thing all the way at the back, and everything else will just be taken care of. Yep, and I even get to go up a level. That means this was level 29, the whole quest. Anyways, this should do it. This is the last of my 4 videos about the MachineBow. I've done other quests with the MachineBow build. I've done the Shroud raid on solo. That was done with the MachineBow build at level 30, and I did also at level 21, I believe, the Reaver's Fate raid. So you can go check those out if you want. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. My channel is getting close to 1,000 views already, and I want to say thank you to everyone. So take care and good luck.